Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Matt Jarbo, and this is $3 Theater. And you know what Warner Brothers did today that was really cool? They dropped the first trailer for Blade Runner 2049, a movie that, let's be fair, you probably thought was never going to happen. I mean, before you heard about it going into production in 2016 and that teaser they released from a little while ago. But before that, you never thought it would happen. You never thought that they would go back into the world. You never thought that we'd ever get tales from Blade Runners again. But here we are. Here we are. In an age of reboots and remakes and reimagining, it's cool to see a sequel that still brings back part of the original cast. And by that, of course, I'm talking about Harrison Ford as Rick Deckard. Now, what we know about this particular film, about Blade Runner 2049, is that it follows the story of a new Blade Runner, LAPD officer, Officer K. All right, Officer K is Ryan Gosling's name. I don't know why. That this makes no sense to me. Sounds like it's a Men in Black thing. A little bit confusing there. But he uncovers a secret that could lead to the end of humanity, which forces him to track down Deckard himself to get answers. And that's the storyline as we know it right now. But based on the trailer, it appears that Jared Leto's character, whoever Jared Leto is playing, is trying to create replicants, I think, that live forever, or that are of everybody. What I take from this, the general plot line, is that everyone is going to be replaced by a replicant. That's what I'm thinking. I could be wrong, but that's kind of what it feels like to me. You know, what's the next step of the replicant problem? You know, that they would make everyone replicants. Maybe one person will control them, so to speak. But the idea of Blade Runner, for those of you who don't remember, is that replicants created by the Tyrell Company are illegal to be used on Earth, so they are sent off to mining colonies in space. They have a 4-year lifespan, and when they escape, if any of them escape and come back to Earth to try to seek a longer life, well, they're hunted down and killed by Blade Runners. And then, of course, you know, we get the story from the first film with Deckard trying to protect Rachel, and then, of course, questioning whether or not, you know, his existence and everything else. And if you watch the final cut of the movie, it basically implies that Deckard is a replicant. It's very subtle, has a lot to do with the eyes glowing. Now, you might agree or disagree with that. My best friend and I will argue over that constantly. He believes Deckard isn't. I believe Deckard is. However, with the 4-year lifespan, and here this movie takes place, you know, 30, 35 years later. I don't know how long necessarily. Well, you know, you've got Deckard alive. So if he's a replicant, then he found a way to prolong life, which I'm sure they will explain that. I'm sure they'll find a way to explain that. But then again, who knows? I could be wrong. My friend could be right. But the way that this trailer is pushing things is that Ryan Gosling discovers that he's a replicant. Or that's what we're meant to believe from the trailer. The trailer alludes to that towards the end. And I think that is interesting, but I'm a little fearful that it's giving too much away. Because I made a kind of an off-the-hand comment about it on Twitter, and immediately people came back with, oh yeah, Gosling's a replicant. So if they were trying to make that a big reveal, and they were teasing that in this, clearly fans of the franchise picked up on it, clearly they understood it, and clearly they're getting it. Now, I don't quite know if that's going to be good or bad for the movie itself. I'll have to wait and find out. But this is one of the films that I want to actually try to avoid as much marketing for as humanly possible. Simply because, to me, it's something that I want to go in and just enjoy. But at the same time, promotional material, I'm a sucker for it, so there's that. But ultimately, this film shares aesthetics with Ridley Scott's 1982 original. But you can see that it's a bit brighter. It's not as noir-ish, more neo-noir. And it's not using as many practical effects, which is unfortunate because that was one of the great things from the 80s. CG was minimal, but we definitely got a lot when it came to practical. And it just makes more sense these days to make it all, you know, CG and whatnot. Now, the girl that you see on the screen right here, I don't know who she is, but she's apparently, I'm guessing she's another replicant and someone who Gosling meets that might send him on his journey, or she's his version of Rachel, so to speak. So we're going to have to find that one out as time goes on. But when it comes to the director, Denis Villeneuve, if I'm mispronouncing that, I do apologize. I feel like this particular guy is definitely the only working director in Hollywood right now that could probably pull this off in the way that it needs to be pulled off. And it's not that he is a Ridley Scott in training or he is a protege of Ridley Scott, but his movies, Prisoners, Sicario, and Arrival, are all vastly different in themes, vastly different in genres, and they're still masterfully shot and masterfully put together. And so this guy has been making a name for himself as kind of being something like the next Ridley Scott. And I'd be very curious to see how he does this. Because if this is a success, expect this guy to like head off and do his own thing sci-fi wise. But just the visuals alone are making me happy. While it's not as dark or as maybe dreary-ish as the first one, it is trying to replicate it to an extent. And for that, I'm curious to see what they do, and it does look good. But at the end of this whole thing, at the end of the trailer, when it was all said and done, I watched it like 2-3 times. My excitement level is high. My excitement level for Blade Runner 2049 is up there. It's out of all the fall movies coming out, that and Justice League are the ones I want to see the most. And I have a feeling that we're going to be pleasantly surprised by what this film is able to put out there. Hopefully, at Comic-Con, they'll show us some more stuff. I'll be able to give you guys a better update. I know I keep talking about wanting to avoid marketing, but let's be fair. I go spend all that time going to Hall H in order to get all the marketing because I'm a whore like that, and I can admit it. But I want to know what you guys think about this. Do you think that Blade Runner 2049 is going to be a hit? Do you think it's going to be a dud? Do you think it's going to be good? Do you think that they should even bother going back into that world, or should they just let it die? Let the original stay as it is, those 5 different cuts that are out there. These are things I want to know, so go ahead and write them down in the comments below. My name is, of course, Matt Jarbo. If you guys haven't already, please thumbs up the video, subscribe if you're new, check back daily for more movie news commentary from me. I will talk to you guys later. Have yourself a fantastic day, and peace out.